Episode 3, Vitruvius and the Three Principles of Architecture. Welcome to Samson Construction TV. Today we're reaching all the way back to ancient Rome, to a man named Vitruvius. He was an architect and engineer who lived over 2,000 years ago, and he wrote a book called De Architectura, or the 10 Books on Architecture. In that book, he laid out what he believed were the three essential qualities of any building: firmness, commodity, and delight, or in Latin, firmitas, utilitas, venustas. These three words have shaped architecture ever since, and believe it or not, they're still at the heart of construction projects today. Let's break them down. 1. Firmness, the need for strength. The first principle is firmness. Vitruvius believed a building should be stable and durable. That meant choosing the right materials, laying proper foundations, and ensuring the structure could withstand both time and nature. For us, firmness shows up in everything from soil testing before a foundation pour, to ensuring framing connections are reinforced, to structural steel inspections. Firmness isn't glamorous, but it's essential. When you walk into a building, you don't think about whether the beams can hold. You just trust they will. That trust comes from builders who respect firmness as a principle, not just a code requirement. 2. Commodity, the need for usefulness. The second principle is commodity, usefulness. A building isn't worth much if it doesn't serve its purpose. For Vitruvius, architecture had to meet the needs of its occupants. A Roman bathhouse had to handle crowds. A Roman home had to provide comfort and function. In modern times, commodity shows up in floor plans that make sense, buildings that meet ADA accessibility standards, HVAC systems that keep spaces comfortable, and layouts that encourage the right flow of people and work. At Samson Construction, we think about commodity every time we adjust a blueprint with a client. Does this design really serve your needs? Does this layout work for how you live or how your business operates? 3. Delight, the need for beauty. Finally, delight. Vitruvius argued that buildings should uplift the human spirit. Beauty, proportion, and harmony matter just as much as strength and function. And it's not just about decoration. It's about how the whole structure feels. Is it welcoming? Does it inspire? Think about walking into a cathedral, or even just standing under a well-designed porch. The sense of scale, the rhythm of columns, the balance of light and shadow. That's delight. In modern construction, delight shows up in thoughtful design choices, materials chosen for warmth and character, lighting that creates atmosphere, details that make a space memorable. 4. Why these three still matter today: firmness, commodity, delight. 3 simple words that sum up what every good building should have. Even in today's world of CAD drawings, BIM modeling, and sustainable materials, these principles remain timeless. If a project only focuses on firmness, you might end up with a bunker, strong but uninspiring. If it's only about commodity, you get a warehouse, useful but soulless. If it's only about delight, you might have beauty that collapses under stress. But when all three come together, you get architecture that lasts, buildings people use, trust, and love. 5. How Samson Construction applies Vitruvius. At Samson Construction, we often find ourselves echoing Vitruvius without even realizing it. When we double-check a concrete pour, we're thinking firmness. When we revise a design to make sure office traffic flows smoothly, we're thinking commodity. And when we choose finishes that highlight craftsmanship, we're thinking delight. Vitruvius might not have known about steel rebar, energy codes, or digital renderings, but his 3 principles are still guiding us even now. So there you have it, the wisdom of Vitruvius in 3 words: firmness, commodity, and delight. More than 2,000 years later, those words still describe the balance we aim for in every project: strong, useful, and beautiful. That's the recipe for architecture that stands the test of time. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Samson Construction TV. If you found this helpful, make sure to like and subscribe, because next time we'll be back on the job site walking you through another essential part of modern construction.